I've provided the basic sign for you so you can follow along. The link is in the description. The images I'm using are tagged as public domain on Google. The links are in the description. I'll be using the white noise texture on the screen. In edit mode, I select the screen and use the P key to separate it from the rest of the sign. I split the viewport and open the shader editor. I delete the principled shader. Add a texture coordinate, Voronoi texture, and white noise texture node. I connect the generated output of the texture coordinate node to the vector of the Voronoi texture. I connect the color of the Voronoi texture to the vector of the white noise texture. I finally connect the value of the white noise texture to the surface of the material output. To make sure I can see individual blocks rather than the default Voronoi texture, I change the randomness of the Voronoi texture to 0. To make the block smaller, I change the scale to 20. I add 2 image texture nodes and open my images. I add a texture coordinate node to each image using the UV output option. I then add a mix shader to combine the 2 images and plug it into the output node. I then connect the value of the white noise texture to the factor of the mix shader. Under the UV workspace, I unwrap the screen and then rotate and scale the UVs so the images appear correctly on the screen. For a cleaner transition, I add a math node between the white noise texture and mix shader node. I change the function to greater than. This means that I can animate the sign using any number between 0 and 1. I can now animate the sign. I split the viewport and open the timeline. I'll be using a frame rate of 30 FPS and change the end frame to 60. On frame 1, I make sure the threshold of the math node is set to 0. I hover my cursor over the threshold of the math node and use the I key to insert a keyframe. On frame 60, I change the threshold of the math node to 1. I hover my cursor over the threshold of the math node and use the I key to insert a keyframe. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and turn on notifications. If you want to request a tutorial, please leave a comment below. Have a good day.